Hey everybody, I'm Todd and this is Sweet Tea Guitars. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and welcome to a guitar giveaway. We're going to jump straight into work on this thing. I need to get about 3 millimeters or so of thickness off the back of this body. I've got a number 5 plane right here. I've got a number 4 plane right here, which I've become a real fan of the number 4 and this particular number 4. This is an old Wardsmaster plane that I got on eBay. I think I paid $25 for this thing, including shipping. It's nice and sharp. It does as good as far as cutting goes as any plane I've used. Towards the end of this process, once I get this material removed, if I need to start leveling things out and the 4 is not capable of doing that, that's when I've got the 5 out. It'll give me a little bit more of a flatter surface because a 5 is about 14 inches long, which is basically a little wider than a guitar body. Anyway, let's jump on this. I mean, this plane glides like butter across this thing, and it's taken, you know, nice ribbons. All in the name of love. Let's grab our straight edge real quick. Looking really good that way. We're actually looking good that way too. That's really good. I love a hand plane so much. I'll take a couple more passes up and back on this body. The fact that it's alder means it sands really easy. Because alder is one of the softer hardwoods. That looks really good. I really would love to use a color on this guitar that appeals to anyone who may end up with it. I keep going back and forth between a vibrant color or something classic like honey and yellow and brown. And we're about to sand the front of this guitar. And we'll make an assessment after that because we're getting really close to the point that I'm going to need to have a color decided on this thing. I still got to carve the neck, so we got some time. All right, you guys, I think we've gone about as far as I'm comfortable going with the random orbit. We're going to have a ton of hand sanding to do on this guitar anyway. I'm going to get over to the router table and flush cut this fretboard up against this neck. We'll work on the end of the fretboard as we're shaping the neck or getting the neck shape started at least. Let's just get this done real quick. Always try and get it just above my fretboard so it cuts like that, you know, gets really close. We'll get our protractor and establish a new center line. That looks good. Now we'll come down here. That's our heel depth. We want to copy that over to the side. Same thing on the other side. All right, you guys, giveaway neck coming to life. I'm happy. All right, so there's our first facet cut. Now to get that nice and flat, I want to use the medium cut Iwasaki. And it'll get it flat. You can run your fingers up and down it and see if you've got any bulges or valleys. All right, you guys, welcome back to the shop. Today's Saturday, April 1st. We're going to continue on getting this neck where I want it. I'm also going to cut our truss rod notch into the body right here. That way I can slide the neck down in the pocket, show you guys what this thing's going to look like. Before we can do that, however, I need to get some more work done on the back of this neck. We're pretty much done shaping it, and I'm really happy with the neck profile that we've got here. I'm calling this a soft C, and I'll pop it out of the vise and show you guys. We're looking really good, and I've decided to go with a softer convex kind of a shape right here on the transition, as opposed to my normal hard line that I do right there. That is so comfortable up against the hand though. I may use that technique again. We'll take a little bit more material off of the heel end of this neck. Then we're going to cut that slot into the front of the body. I was thinking about what I could use on this guitar that I thought would look cool if I go the direction with color that I think I'm going to. But I wanted to show you what hardware I've decided to go with. So this is a hip shot style bridge, black. These are steel, they are not pot metal. I got this from Kyper. These things are excellent quality. I've been happy with everything I've gotten from them. Here's our pickup. This is a brand new Kent Armstrong vintage. It's an Alnico 5 humbucker. It is 4-wire. I'm putting a volume and a tone in it. I'll use 500K pots. This should sound really good. Knobs, I've got WD Music. These are solid brass, black, knurled, flat top knobs like you would find on a telly. So that's what we'll use on that. I'll use black California Custom Clusen strap buttons. This guitar's not getting a selector switch, but the pots I use are either Alpha, CTS, or my preference is actually Borns. So it'll be one of those three. And I'll be going with Centom's extra hard nickel silver. I haven't decided on fret markers yet, but it'll probably be a brass tube or maybe even an aluminum tube with an abalone or a mother of pearl inlay. I think I will mark all the frets on this guitar, or the standard frets that get marks. I think I will mark those on this guitar, not do the 1/12 fret marker that I've become known for, or whatever you want to say, that I use from time to time. How about that? Anyway, I've used those Kent Armstrong pickups before. The reason I decided to go with that particular pickup on this guitar, some Alnico 5s have a tendency to sound like they have scooped mids, but I've found that these Kent Armstrong pickups don't do that. They have a nice chimey sound to them. And we'll work that out. I'll play around with the values on the capacitor if I have to, but we'll get that worked out and make sure that the tone on this guitar is like it should be. I want you guys to be happy with it. I want to get this material at least up to this first cut right here removed off of the back of this neck. This is not going to take us long. I just want to get that shape dialed in, and we'll finish carving the heel transition once we get this neck mounted to the body. We'll switch over to the fine cut Iwasaki. It's looking really good. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. I'm going to leave. I've drawn a temporary semicircle right there, which is tapered. I don't want that straight or symmetrical. What I want to get done is I want to get this truss rod notch cut into the body so we can slide this neck down in there. That's going to allow us to figure out our scale length, where our bridge needs to get placed, you know, we need to know these things. So I would really love to get at least a pilot hole drilled for our tuners. I've had a thought about this though, you guys, and I've looked through all my tuners. I don't have a set I want to use on this guitar. So I'm going to go up to the house as soon as I get done, and I'm going to order a set of black Kyper locking tuners to go on this guitar. I could get hip shots for not much more money, but to be quite honest, I've been really impressed with these Kypers, and I like the look of these particular tuners that I'm going to order, and I think you guys will too. So I want to keep this plain and simple, and once you guys see the color that I'm thinking about using on this guitar, I think you'll agree black hardware was a good choice. We're going to get this notch routed in. We'll be able to slide this neck down in the pocket at that point, which is going to give you guys the first glimpse of what this guitar is actually going to look like. I'm really excited about it. All I'm doing is routing in a slot so our truss rod nut can sink down into the body. I've measured it out. I'm using this Maximum Guitar Works template, which has that route built into it. All right, let's get after it. All right, nice clean route. So that's what I meant. Just that little slot at the front of my neck pocket. All right, you guys, this is the giveaway build. How cool is this thing? We're going to install the brass tube in the fret markers in the front of the fretboard. We'll get the brass tube and the pearl installed in the side. Let's get these side dots drilled in. I've already drilled 2 of these in just to double check myself. We're good. Now, let's tackle this double at the 12th fret. Everything's in a nice line. We're good to go. I'm really happy with that. I usually go with the 6mm fret marker when I'm doing traditional fret marker locations, but I decided to use a 4mm marker brass tube with a 3mm insert for the pearl. So we need 10 of these, and I'll just kind of pay attention to how much I've got sticking out of my panel vise. We want them a little longer than we think they should be. That's going in there really nicely. I'll get my little halter mallet out. Then we just want to wick a couple of drops of super glue down in there. We'll go to the next one. There we go. Same thing. All right, you guys, we've got our fret dots or our fret markers installed, or starting to install them anyway. We're now going to put the brass tube in the side dots. And honestly, we can go ahead and install the pearl in those as well. Let's get that done. And we'll need to cut ourselves again 10 rounds of the 3mm brass tube, just like we did the 4. We're going to file these brass tubes down level with the side of this fretboard. We'll hit these just barely, so we're not eating up our sandpaper with it when we go to radius this fretboard. Then we're going to start to radius this thing after we put the pearl in the side dots. There's our fret markers leveled and our side dots leveled. We're in good shape. Let's get these dots installed. All right. There we go. Side dots done. I'm super happy with those. They're nice and straight. I went ahead and drilled the tuners in. We got a nice straight line. How I do this, just to let you guys know my process. I've used an 8mm bit because I know the bushings that are coming with these Kyper tuners are 8mm outside the thread. So I know they'll fit down in the front of here. I'll get my 10mm part, which is for the sleeve on the tuner that the bushing actually goes down inside of. So when the tuner seats into the hole from the back, that sleeve is 10mm. So how I get the 10mm hole in the back of the headstock is I use a step drill bit. That way I don't have to worry about going all the way through the headstock at 10mm. I only need that 10mm part deep enough to accept the sleeve on the tuner. If you'll look right there, I've drawn myself a line. So once I punch these in on the template, I take a ruler and I run myself a line down the center of those punched holes to make certain that the point of my brad point is falling on that line every single time. And then I only have to trust the template for the spacing in between each tuner. It works out pretty good. I did not go all the way through on 5 and 6. I want to step back over to the drill press and get that done. We're good to go. So there's our tuners drilled in. I've got 40 grit, 3M green core sandpaper on my Maximum Guitar Works 12-inch radius block. I'll turn the neck around every once in a while. Let's drop our fretboard to make sure we're staying nice and flat. "12-inch radius gauge. We are perfect, you guys. I am so happy with that. I love it. It's not going to be long, you guys, and I'm going to be putting finish on this guitar. I'm 90% sure that I know what color I'm going with on this guitar, and I think it's going to look really great with black hardware. One of you guys is going to be getting a truly original guitar that was handmade by me here in the shop on YouTube. So far, I'm really proud of this thing, you guys, and I'm going to be proud to give it to one of you. And I hope whoever wins this thing, I hope you guys enjoy it for years to come. I'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, peace and love.